China's economic growth is set to fall behind the rest of Asia for the first time since 1990, according to the World Bank. It expects the Chinese economy to grow 2.8% this year, nearly half of what was previously forecast. The slowdown is largely due to a downturn of the property market in Beijing's zero-COVID policy. The World Bank cut its forecast for the Asia-Pacific region as a whole to 3.2%. We're joined now by our China analyst, Clifford Coonan. Good to have you. So in more evidence that the world has turned upside down, the rest of Asia, Clifford, is doing better than China. What are the prospects of the Chinese economy now?
Well, it's funny how we've gotten so used to China being the leader and the strong growth figures coming from there. I think that there's a lot of challenges facing the Chinese economy right now. We have the zero-COVID policy, as you've mentioned. This is interesting when you compare it to other countries which have also had quite strict COVID policies, but seem to have managed it better without these shutdowns that they've had in China, which have played havoc with the economy. There's 23 countries in the region, and China accounts for 86% of economic output. So whatever way you look at it, we need China to keep growing. But it's also facing the prospect of a 20th Party Congress coming up, at which the leader Xi Jinping will reinforce his rule. And that also means that there's not much happening in China. Everything has to kind of stay as it is in economic terms. And then we have a problem facing the property sector, which accounts for about 30% of economic activity. That's also in trouble at the moment. So there's a lot of headwinds facing China right now.
Never a good time for a cut in a forecast, but this timing is especially inauspicious. So this is a huge cut in the forecast for a region long considered the engine of global growth. What does this mean for the global economy then?
Well, I think it's going to be interesting. I mean, if you cast your mind back to the 90s when we were talking about the tiger economies, I mean, Vietnam was the fastest growing country in the region. I think we're going to see more growth coming from other economies. As we say, China is still a giant in the region, but I think the rest of the world still needs China. It still needs its output. It's such a key factor in the supply chain. And ultimately, we need China to recover in order for the global economy to recover. I think the prospects going forward all depends on how zero COVID moves. If Xi Jinping decides to keep it going, that's what everyone's worried about at the moment, because people are hoping for a stimulus plan, perhaps in China, which won't happen as long as zero COVID is happening, because it will just fizzle out. So I think how the zero COVID policy develops in China is going to be absolutely crucial to seeing how the economy develops.
The rest of the world still needs China, for better or worse. Clifford Coonan, thanks so much.